But then something happened on my phone last week, no lie. All my favorites didn't have names anymore, and they're just the numbers. I was like, I don't know who these people are. I was like, I have no idea. How do I fix this?
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Simply not. Oh, it may have worked. Didn't realize I wasn't in here. I unplugged and it never connected. Should have reconnected to the Wi-Fi, but it didn't.
Always the glitchy thing.
I can work on it. It's live, it definitely has been. There we go.
Okay, you're good. Thank you.
All right, now we can get started. First order of business is approval of the minutes from September 21st, 2020. Did anybody have any changes to the minutes?
Just your name is spelled wrong.
Yes. thank you.
Yes.
I'll fix it.
Other than that, I'll move to approve the minutes from September 21st, 2020.
Your second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next order of business is the town administrator's report from Michelle McKay.
We have 3 months worth, so I'll just highlight the important things. And I'd like to welcome Doug Islip to the board, and thank you for joining us this one. So in October, one of the highlights was being able to update the council on the facade grants that we've been working on. So in 2019, we received $50,000 in facade grants that we could re-grant. We re-granted to 14 different projects, and 13 of those projects are now complete. And it was spurred on $183,000 worth of improvements, so that was very successful. In 2020, we got another $25,000 to re-grant, and we just chose 8 projects. And the total of that, if I can read my own writing, is $88,000 in improvements. So we're just getting started with those. So we're really excited about that project, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback from the businesses. So it's right in the downtown business district. In November, we approved a new Public Works open-end contract for our water and sewer repairs and Public Works. And Bay Country took over the contract that AB&H had for the last several years. And then just this month, we introduced ordinance number 204, which is to update our critical area ordinance, which you all will be hearing later today. We also held a public hearing on resolution 4-20, which was the beginning of a process to purchase some land at the wastewater, adjacent to the wastewater treatment plant, to allow us to be able to do the new expansion that we're working on. We're getting low on sewer capacity, and we have been working on an expansion up to almost 1 million gallons a day. And the really great thing about purchasing this property that's right down there by the apartments, right across from the lagoons, it's right by the wastewater treatment plant, and it also gives us growing room for the next expansion, which will be long after I'm not here anymore. But it is really a big win for the town. And then we also approved purchase of 2 new town trucks through Leonardtown Chevy. And that's all I have.
Does anybody have any questions? Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. New business, we have 2 things on the agenda. The first is case number 14-05 for Clark's Rest subdivision phase 4. They're asking for a request for modification to approved site plan for phase 4.
Okay, I know you're all very familiar with the Clark's Rest subdivision, so I'm going to move through this kind of quickly. Merrick is currently requesting changes to the approved site plan for portions of phase 4. The plan submitted, which you have in your packages, and I did highlight, it shows 4 single-family lots added along Ash Grove. I know it says Fairwood Court in the staff report, I apologize. Along Ash Grove, one single-family lot added between Ash Grove and Mount Oak, and then a grouping of 6 townhomes off of Rosewood Court, as well as additional parallel parking on Briarwood Circle. And then if you'll notice, lots 302 through 312 have been changed from rear loading driveways, or from front loading driveways to rear loading driveways. So I did highlight those changes for you. The original approval for the entire subdivision was 335 lots. The requested changes bring the total number of units to 344, which is still within the allotted density requirements of our ordinance, and staff did review and adjust the addresses so that they'll be reflected on the recorded plats. And Marvin Olser is here if you should have any questions of him.
Okay, does anyone have any questions on this?
Do you want to talk about it?
Only if they have questions.
No, I don't.
Mm-mm.
Okay, hearing no questions for discussion, we can, do I hear a motion?
I can make a motion. I approve case number 14-05.4, Clark's Rest subdivision phase 4 modifications.
Second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion's approved. Second on the agenda is case number 1405 for Clark's Rest subdivision phase 4 plats. Request for approval of the phase 4 plats.
So basically what you just approved, I need you to approve those plats so that we can have those recorded through the courts. Fairly simple and straightforward.
Does anybody have any questions on that? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
I move to approve case number 14-05.4, Clark's Rest subdivision, phase 4 plans.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion is approved. Okay, moving on to other business, we have ordinance number 204, critical area ordinance, chapter 60.
Okay, so the town has been going through a lot of their ordinances lately, and we realized that the critical area ordinance was really out of date. The last update for this ordinance was done in 2002, and since then numerous COMAR statutes have passed, which basically rendered our ordinance completely outdated and kind of useless. So we have been working with the Critical Area Commission planning staff and the town's legal counsel since mid-October to bring the ordinance up to date. Staff has taken into consideration requirements for growth allocation, modified buffer areas, and adjacency requirements to make sure that there's no unnecessary restrictions on the development and expansion of several different projects, but mainly the potential development of Tudor Hall Farm and the stuff that we want to do down at the wharf. So right now, staff is asking for a favorable recommendation to town council. If granted, the town council will hold a public hearing at their January 11th meeting. And then if they approve it, the Critical Area Commission will take it, review it, and approve it as well. It is a rather lengthy ordinance. However, I think that it kind of sets things forth. It's very easy to read, very easy to understand, and I think it gives the town the opportunity to review a lot of its own projects without having to go through Critical Area Commission, which is always a good thing.
And I would just add that it's the model ordinance, it's the minimum required, and basically the state ordinance overrides in our local, since we're not, haven't updated it since 2002, we still have to go by these regulations because the state's overrides ours. So it's really just bringing it up to what the minimum requirement is for the state. And then there were just a few areas that we had the flexibility to make sure we had passed some modified buffers down at the wharf, a number of years ago when that project got started, so we were able to tweak the language for that. But for the most part, it's just a very straightforward, it's what the minimum requirements are from the state.
That was actually my question, especially in relation to like down at the wharf and any expansion in Tudor Hall. Like how would that work in the future? Because I know certain things aren't allowed in the critical area or so much from the shoreline. How is the town able to do that
And that's really
then?
dictated by the
state,
state
yeah.
regulations, and our ordinance, you know, pretty much has to mirror
Mirror
that.
Okay.
And even if we decided to pass something totally different, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
The state trumps it anyway, so.
Okay.
But we, I mean, nothing, there's not really any substantial changes from what we already have been working with both Tudor Hall Development and the wharf. And a lot of the mitigation has already been done at the wharf when Mr. Russo was moving forward with the Leonardtown Landing project.
Right.
So a lot of that that groundwork has been approved previously. So, you know, there's always, you know, a new interpretation for,
Yeah.
you know, we've run into a couple issues with critical areas with the annexation project that we're working on with the nursing center. But we're trying to work through those, and there was some wording that we needed in this ordinance that will help that project be able to do what they need to do as once we are able to do the annexation, so. You don't really have a lot of flexibility. But
Yeah, I know. Knowing how that is with the state, they're pretty strict with a lot of things, so.
Yes, they were very easy to work with, though. I think that
That's good.
they really did help us and kind of guided us. in the
Yeah, I know they
direction.
want good things to happen
Yeah,
and things
where
to
you have
progress.
flexibility, they talk through it with us and
Mhm.
try to make sure that it would meet our needs, so.
Cool. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions? So you need a recommendation from us, a favorable recommendation.
Yes.
I guess you just say,
It should be in your staff report.
Yeah, I can do it.
You
I'll make a motion to send a favorable recommendation to the town council for ordinance number 204, the critical area ordinance, chapter 60.
I will second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Send a favorable recommendation to the town council.
Thank you.
Thank you for the explanation too, Michelle. That was helpful.
Last order of business is the review of the monthly in-house permits for the since September. So everybody have a chance to look at these and if there are any questions?
A lot going on.
It's actually been very busy.
Yeah.
With COVID and everything else, I kind of half expected some of the smaller projects to slow down, and as you can see, that
Still
did not
going.
happen
Yeah.
at all.
Still going.
That's because people are in their house more and see all the stuff.
I think that you are exactly right. A lot of honey-do lists being checked off.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions.
Me neither.
Questions? Okay. Hearing no questions on that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I will motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Second.
All right, we're adjourned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're fast.
You are fast.
Wasn't the fastest, but it was.
And Marvin, as much as we love to hear from you, save you some time.
I know you can say something if you want.